Hello, welcome to the Roundhouse podcast with Paul Sulentrop of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. Thanks so much for your time. Today's guest is women's basketball coach Terry Nooner. Terry is entering his second season with the Shockers. They wrapped up their summer workouts with a trip to the Virgin Islands where they won 2 games, swam with the dolphins, they took a sky ride, enjoyed the beaches and the water. It seemed like an all-around good team bonding kind of thing with basketball thrown in. Shockers 10-22 last season. They ended on a positive note with wins in 2 of their final 3 games. They have several returners, including sophomore guard Celeste Blow. She averaged 12.3 points last season, was one of the top freshmen in the American Athletic Conference. Also back is forward Jayla Murray, who started 18 games. So Terry, let's start with the big picture, summer theme. What did you emphasize? What did you really want to get across to this group?
I think the biggest thing was we had to get back to my core basketball. We brought in a bunch of players who were super hardworking, who were competitive, who were tough. Recruiting-wise, we wanted to be a lot more athletic. We wanted to rebound a lot better. And so those are the things that we really try to focus in and address during the recruiting process. And then just trying to establish a foundation with 9 new players.
Give people an idea of the summer schedule. How's it set up?
So so one of the big benefits of being able to go on a foreign trip is you get to have 10 regular practices. Usually those are kind of set up in the month of July. You'll set those up before you go to your foreign trip. But so the first month in the month of June, we had all the players come here, and that's like our regular summer access. So we get 4 hours where we can do things with the team on the court, and then 4 hours where they can do strength and conditioning workouts. So that was kind of like how we started it. We worked on a bunch of individual skill work the first 2 weeks of the summer just to kind of, get everybody acclimated. The last 2 weeks we kind of start putting in a few of the drills and the things that we use during practices. Then once we got into July, it was us getting into real practices, what the practices will look like during the regular season.
Which of the returners did you see stepping up and leading, whether it's helping somebody through a drill, whether it's taking the new people out to eat, whether it's holding other people accountable? Who stepped up during the summer?
I think one of the biggest things our fans are going to notice is I think Jayla Murray will be one. If you look at, so we have 6 returners, and a big thing that they wanted to lock in on is we talked about we weren't in the best shape as we could have been in last year, so we did a lot even in the spring with our returners. So they all met with the nutritionist. They did a lot of individual meetings with our strength and conditioning coach, and we wanted to make sure we were in from foundationally just being in a lot better shape. And I want to say she lost like 20 pounds, I believe, over the course of from the last game of the season to the time she went home in May. She just really locked in on her nutrition and her conditioning, and you can really see the difference in her just for how she looks and the way she looks, and her confidence and her ability to get up and down the floor and the speed that she's running with on the floor. So I would say that was a big one. But I would just say those young ladies just really kind of banded together in the spring. Those 6 just kind of create like a core of this is how we're going to do things, and we want things to be a little bit different from where they were in the previous season, and we're going to be close and we're going to be tight. And then when we get our new people to come in, we're going to show them the ropes and how everything is done here at Wichita State.
Okay, Jayla Murray, I'll remind people, she played in 30 games last year, started 18. She averaged 7.1 points, 4.0 rebounds, which I think would have been second on the team in rebounds, playing in the front court for the Shockers. So she had a good summer then,
she had a great summer. And like I said, we really wanted to focus in on the way that we want to play. We want to play fast. We want to play up tempo. We want to be physical. And in order for us to play fast and the way we want to play, you have to be in tip-top shape. And I think they really kind of took that mantra on just coming into the summer basketball.
You mentioned nutrition, and this team, it was noticeable if you were following the Shockers on social media. They had etiquette training, they had financial literacy, and then you took them to Dillon's for some nutrition. Why are those types of things important?
I think it's important just because when you talk about bringing when I recruit young ladies to come to play for us at Wichita State, we talk about developing them as a woman and not just as a basketball player. And I think those are things that are important. That those are life skills that they're going to need once they leave these 4 years of playing here with us. So I mean, we even did financial literacy training with the ladies. We're also trying to schedule some basic like self-defense stuff that we're going to do with them, and then we're going to do Coach Antwain Scales. He's like a car geek, and so we're going to go one weekend. We're going to go to a garage, and he's going to show them how to fix flat tires and oil and like just basic car stuff, which I need to learn it myself too. But I just think those are skills that are life skills that they'll be able to use, once the basketball stops bouncing. So we want to develop them as a total full young lady and not just a basketball player.
That is a good idea with Antwain Scales.
Yeah.
I may sign up for that. I can
Yes.
I can change a tire. I change my oil once, but beyond that, I'm not great. That's a good idea.
And that's his passion.
Yeah, I know he's a dedicated car guy. Interesting. What did the players seem to respond to most? Was there something they all walked out of saying, "Oh boy, that was really helpful"?
They really love the media training, and I think they love the grocery shopping. I think just learning, what foods to focus on and what to look at, what they need to fuel their body, what they need to eat the day before a game, the day of games, and what they need to stay away from. And because nutrition, what people don't understand, that's as big a part as conditioning as running sprints and the basketball part. So I think those two, I would say, probably were the best. They also like the financial literacy stuff too. I think that's something that all young people need to learn, just basic stuff and creating budgets and counting your money and that kind of stuff. Because our players, they stay off campus, so they're getting a lot of practice with maintaining their budgets, and they have to pay their rent each month and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I frequently do stories where athletes will tell you, I got away with bad eating habits in high school because I was the most talented person, and then I got to college and I needed to learn to eat salads and vegetables and chicken and lean meat and things like that. So you've experienced that too. That's an important step for them.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I call her also Kalia Parr, and she's a freak athlete. She's the shortest person on the team, but she probably has the highest vertical. I mean, for her size, she's probably pound for pound the strongest person on the team. She's back-to-back state champion and MVP, and she hates eating breakfast. So she came in a few times, and we had like some morning practices, and she didn't have no energy and didn't understand why. So we talked to her about, you have to try to get some food in you to fuel your body. Because I think when you're in high school, you think that if you eat before you play that you might throw up or it's going to make you slower. So I think that's just part of the educational process.
KP Parr is a freshman guard. Yes. She is from Waco, right?
Yes,
Waco, Texas. Yeah, won a couple state titles, as you said.
Yes.
The 10 practices for the Virgin Islands. Yes. How did you structure those? What did you want to get out of that
we
time?
Really we put in like our base offense. We really didn't put in a lot of plays. It was more so us trying to focus on how we were going to play. So we focus a lot on, like, we would play a lot of games and we play international rules, so the shot clock dropped from 30 to 24. And for us to try to play the kind of pace we want to, we had situations where we would even drop the shot clock lower just to make the games go up and down, and that we're playing faster. Because I really want us to get used to just playing fast and attacking people, whether they score or miss a shot. We got a bunch of people that can handle the ball. So that was a big part of, trying to establish our defensive core principles, and then like our core base of how we're going to play on offense.
So you take a trip to the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
There's a lot of team bonding.
Yes.
How important is that to this whole picture?
Oh, I think it's huge. I mean, I think that was something that, looking back on, after you go through a year of the process, me, I'm tough on myself and try to think of what I could have done better. And I think the way we structured our summer last year probably didn't help as far as making the team more cohesive and connected. So we really, in talking to our players that were returning, like, they wanted to do, just a bunch of stuff where they bonded together. So even with Mally Hall, who's our sports psych, we would do sessions with her, probably it was like every other week where we talked about our vision. Players talked about their vision for the team and confidence, and she also attacks like a bunch of different issues and how to talk to your teammates during tough stretches and how to motivate your teammates and trying to learn, because you got some teammates who you can talk to one way, but, other teammates, they're better off if you pull them to the side and kind of help them out. So that was things that it was good for us in this trip. We got to play the games. We got to see how people perform in game situations. And for us as coaches, try to figure out what motivates our kids, too, as we get them on the floor.
So the Shockers won the 2 games that they played in the Virgin Islands. Take us through those 2 games. What were the big takeaways as far as what you liked, who played well?
The games were tough. We actually, and I've been on these tours 3 different times, I think, during my coaching career. And most of the time, you go out of town and you do a bunch of touring and you have fun and you walk in the gym and you'll play, like a group of local people that don't really play. They're just there just for you to beat them by 100 points, and you go on your way and finish your tour. Where we played, Regina, which is a small college out of Canada, and they played well together, and they had their offense and defense and schemes, and they shot a lot of threes. So for us, the biggest part is we got out of it, and we didn't get no injuries, which I think is good. I think we were able to showcase our depth against them. And I think just showing as a team just how much depth we have, how many people that we can play, how many different styles we can play. Like we can play 5 out and we can play small. We can match up with teams who play that kind of way because we have, versatile forwards that can match up if we have to match up. We can play big with Maisa Sissoko and Aisha if we want to play 2 bigs or Ella. We can play a bunch of bigs. We can dribble drive with smaller guards. We can pick up full court. So we was able to showcase that we can play a bunch of different ways, and I think those are probably the highlights. Player-wise, I would say defensively, we got a bunch of steals both games, which was huge for us. Our defensive intensity, especially from Taylor, Jameson, who's a Wichita Heights kid, KP from Waco, Princess, they were just dogs on the ball and able to apply ball pressure, which was big for us. Having Mai and Aisha, and then, of course, Jayla and Bree, I think rebounding was a big thing for us. We really only had one dominant rebounder, which I think now we have more people who can go, attack the glass and get offensive rebounds and finish in the paint, which is going to be huge for us. But I just think our defensive intensity was huge for us, and we wore teams down. We got to play a bunch of people. I thought the second game, Jasmine Peaks was big for us just at the point guard spot. She's just a human highlight with her ability to pass the ball and make plays for people, and she also scored a little bit. I think we really had highlights from everybody. Fiona, who she got here July 16th, I think, so the other players have been here 6 weeks. She comes in from Paris as a freshman, and you can't tell that she's a freshman. Kind of remind me a lot of Celeste from last year with her conditioning and how strong she is. And she got in the second game, and we put her in for probably 5 minutes, and she instantly had like 7 points and a bunch of steals. And so I think we had a bunch of highlights from across the board.
I'm going to run through some of these names to catch fans up. You may have to help me on the pronunciation. You mentioned Taylor Jameson, played at Heights. She's a transfer from George Mason. You mentioned Princess Anderson, led the nation in scoring at Pratt Community College. Fiona, pronounce her last name for me.
Diomande, that's a freshman from France.
Okay. Breon White, senior forward, transfer from TCU. Who else did you mention? Jasmine Peaks is a transfer from Indian River State College. Mai Sissoko. Mai Sissoko. 6'3" forward, transfer from Cloud County. And Aisha?
We call her Ice.
And spell her or pronounce her last name.
Door.
Aisha Door.
Yeah, it's like you, and then you got to say the door. It's kind of, she'll give us a lot of practice with it.
Ndour.
Yes.
She is a 6'6" senior center transfer from Illinois.
Yes.
I wanted to go back to Taylor Jameson.
Yes.
When I've jumped in to watch a little practice, seems like she's always fun to watch. A lot of energy. Tell us about Taylor.
Oh man, she is a fireball. She is intense. She loves Wichita. She's so happy to be here. I think the biggest thing what she brings is she takes practice very seriously. She's highly competitive. So like the level of our practice is a lot more because our guards are so competitive with each other. But I mean, she gets an N1 in practice, like she's celebrating and she's picking up full court. Like she has so much speed and her ability to get in the paint and create for people, or get in the paint and score, or to get the ball in transition and be able to score in transition. And she's also a heck of a 3-point shooter too. So just her passion and love for Wichita, I think, shows in the way she plays, and she has a huge big time chip on her shoulder and wants to prove people wrong, and really she takes that mantle on wholeheartedly. But her speed and intensity and the joy and passion that she plays with, our fans are gonna love.
Yeah, Treasure Jobe and DJ McCarty led the Shockers in assists last season.
Yeah.
Both are gone. Tell us what happens at point guard.
I think we kind of do it by committee. Taylor can play it. KP is a pass first, creating type point guard, and then Jasmine Peaks, I would say, will be like our third point guard. So they can all, because they can all score and play on the ball, they can all also play together.
KP Parr, we mentioned her, freshman. Yes. She scored 12 points in one of the games in the Virgin Islands. Describe her game.
Just similar to Jasmine, and like she plays with a huge chip on her shoulder. She's always been like the shortest person on her team, and she really like takes that personal. Like even if you joke with her about it, like she's like, I don't care how little I am, can't nobody beat me, or you're not gonna be tougher than me, you can't score on me in the post. Like she really just kind of like takes that kind of that on, and just her fire and her passion and her ability to guard the ball and create turnovers, because she's little, she's fast, and she's quick, and people are really kind of scared when she guards them on the ball, and she picks up full court every single possession and just plays with so much heart. And she loves to like create. One of her biggest claim to fame and something that she loves is that she has an assist record at her school. Like she really like loves to create for her teammates and make plays for people, and she loves to take charges, which is another thing. She had a game in high school where she had like 13 charges. So she's going to put her body on the line for the team, and I think the fans are really going to love her too. She's just the type of person that you just fall in love with just because of how hard she plays and how tough she is.
We mentioned Bree White, who played at Oklahoma, played at TCU before coming here. She had 13 points, 7 rebounds in one of those games. Describe her role on the team.
Just a senior veteran leader. She's even-keeled, never too high, never too low. She's played at the highest levels of basketball, which is good. She also brings a physical presence. Like when you look at her, just her presence in her body and how strong she is, and she can play forward for us, and if we play teams that small, then she becomes like our small ball 5, which is huge for us because she can guard all positions on the floor. So if we're playing, teams like we played in the Virgin Islands, like they went 5 out, they didn't post anybody up, and she played the 5 for us. So she's great passer, high post jump shots, and like a range out to probably 15 to 17 feet, but loves to pass the ball, loves to rebound, loves to just exert her physical presence, which we love.
Celeste Blow had a fine freshman year. Tell us about her progress going into sophomore year. What did she work on?
She's always been one of our hardest workers. One of the biggest things she worked on, I would say, this year is being more efficient, and then being more improving her 3-point percentage, and then being a better on-ball defender. And you could really see, like, in the Virgin Islands, like, she did a great job just playing defense, which is something that we didn't get a lot from her last year, and it was something that she really focused on. One of the things with her is she's probably one of her hardest critics. She's never satisfied with the way she plays. She's always in the gym working on her game. She's matured a lot. She's talking a lot more this year. So it's good just to kind of see her from where she was this time last year and then coming in this year is kind of like a veteran and kind of growing up on me. So it's good to see with her.
What's the rest of the summer look like, and then when do you get started in earnest in the fall?
So we got back on the 2nd, so we gave our players, they all went home the 3rd, so they've been with their families and kind of enjoying family time. I told them to take a break and get your bodies rested up. We've been going for, 8 or 9 straight weeks of stuff, so they need a little bit of break. So they all get back here 14th. For all the orientation stuff. We have a set 12-minute run that we do on the first day of class, which would be Monday, which they have to run a certain amount of laps to say that they're in the type of condition to get started with practices, and we'll start like strength and conditioning the first few weeks of school, and then we'll get started with basketball after a couple weeks.
Thank you very much. Terry Nooner, women's basketball coach at Wichita State. He's entering his 2nd season. Terry, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, this is Rick Muma, president of Wichita State University. Check out the latest episode of the Forward Together podcast. Each episode, I sit down with different guests from Shocker Nation to celebrate the vision and mission of Wichita State University. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you for listening to the Roundhouse podcast, courtesy of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. We encourage you to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more Roundhouse content at GoShockers.com.
Bradshaw into Wingate. Wingate's going to dribble it a couple of times and throws it in the hands of Kuznard. Drew it away. Kuznard to Ryan Martin for the dunk. The Shockers are going to the Sweet 16. It's all over. The Shockers up 7. 3 seconds. 2. Jumper by Smith is no good. Wichita State to the Sweet 16.